What's poppin', y'all? We gotta have the conversation now that Young Thug may be the most influential rapper of the past 10 years, or since Lil Wayne. And this is cross-culturally and musically, because even the NFL is spooked by him. So Young Thug, as you guys know, he recently took a plea deal with the DA's office in Atlanta to take basically like 15 years of probation, where he may, if he breaks that probation, go back and do 20 years in prison. And since then, what had happened? Well, unfortunately for not just Young Thug, but Young Thug's infamous slat move, the wipe in your nose thing. If you guys recall, there was a tattoo of slat on Gunna's finger, inside his inner finger, like basically every Instagram girl or Instagram model in the modern age. They've got some sort of arrow 444 or something in between their fingers, these finger tattoos. Well, Young Thug, I think he had one. I know for sure Gunna had one, and then they would just put it on underneath their nose, and it would be slat, and basically like wiping your nose meant somebody was getting wiped off of the face of this planet. And it seems like that even reached the NFL because they banned the nose wipe celebration. So it said right here in March 27th, under Section 3, unsportsmanlike conduct, it reads, prohibited acts. There shall be no unsportsmanlike conduct. This applies to any act which is contrary to the generally understood principles of sportsmanship. Such acts specifically include, among others, any violent gesture, which shall include but not be limited to a throat slash, simulating firing or brandishing a gun, or using the nose wipe gesture, or an act that is sexually suggestive or offensive. Now, I think this is quite unfair because look at the other ones, right? If you think throat slash, I would say everyone knows what a throat slash is, right? It's like you slice someone's throat. It is more cartoony, I guess, than simulating a firearm, but we also understand simulating firing or brandishing a gun, because these are two terms or two acts which we've seen for at least our entire lifetime. The nose wipe thing is quite uncommon though, outside of hip hop, outside of Young Thug. That was popularized specifically by Young Thug. So this just talks about his influence a bit. And one of the reporters said, according to NFL teams this week, the nose wipe celebration is a 15-yard penalty for being a violent gesture. And even that guy says, I mean, come on. And players like the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb, he would use the celebration all the time after first downs and after touchdowns. I don't really know the details too much about that. First down, I do. I'm not a football fan whatsoever, but first down is like when the first person gets like tackled, taken down, whatever. And I think there's 4 downs, and then a touchdown is when you score. Come on, I know a little bit, but I will never pretend like I know any football. And I think that's unfortunate because CeeDee Lamb replied and said, SMH, I have plenty in mind. And Thugger Daily said, oh my God, Fonnie Willis won. Wiping your nose as a celebration is now banned from the NFL and will result in a 15-yard penalty. And I do think this is unfortunate, but this is where I think it's unfair because they're giving violations of that for 15-yard line. They already had the brandishing firearm thing. But what happened was Beyonce, during her performance, during Christmas halftime performance, not the Super Bowl halftime performance, don't confuse those two, she did that move herself. So this was in Houston, which is her hometown as well. NRG Stadium, she performed her song from Cowboy Carter alongside Post Malone and Shabuzi, and then she did the move herself. So she waved some fingers. I'll show you guys an image. It was a finger gun move, and then she shot it. And then people started going in, not just on her, but they're saying NFL is going to fine Beyonce for those finger guns. Beyonce just got an unsportsmanlike penalty for the finger gun. I'd expect a fine from the NFL as well. And then is the NFL going to fine Beyonce for finger guns? And this is only fair because if it's such a ridiculous rule to have, and then you only enforce it on the players, but you let somebody go that's going to perform it, that is getting a ton of audience to your show. Beyonce's a superstar. A bunch of people that don't watch football will watch the performance just because they're Beyonce fans. So she has more of a reason to be fined or penalized than the players even. And of course, that didn't happen. As far as I was able to collect information, she did not get fined for that. They probably told her behind the scenes like, hey, you can't do that. But this is the thing. She knows the rules because the NFL entered into a partnership with Roc Nation in 2019. Jay-Z is Beyonce's husband, and that they would be the ones that handled a lot of the live music entertainment. And even after the 5 years I think they were supposed to do, they agreed that they would continue to work with Jay-Z after Jay-Z put Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show. And this is even after Jay-Z had faced that civil lawsuit with some crazy allegations of him allegedly doing something with a 13-year-old. A lot of that was thrown away. They're attacking that case heavily. And the NFL, this is the first time we've ever seen it, is a massive corporation standing behind an individual like Jay-Z or an individual that's accused of something like that. And I think this is a very, very, very good event to happen because, like, hey, this guy's facing a civil case. It's getting thrown out. There are no criminal charges. It doesn't really have much basis, and they're standing behind him. I'd like to see that more, but I would just like to have seen that from somebody that wasn't Jay-Z. And it's not that I don't like Jay-Z. It's that Jay-Z is almost always afforded these luxuries that we don't see passed around to anyone else. Like, if this were like, for example, Travis Scott, when that incident happened, which is different, people died, completely different, but he got dropped by any and everything, and Nike just distanced itself away. But the NFL even said that they were going to uphold their partnership with Jay-Z's Roc Nation and allow everything to play out legally. And Roger Goodell said on NFL on Christmas game day, he said, "We're aware of the civil allegations and Jay-Z's really strong response to that. We know obviously the litigation is happening now. Our relationship is not changing, including our preparations with the next Super Bowl." And this was in the lead up to the performance by Kendrick Lamar. So that just goes to show, like, whoa. That's some power he's got there. But this circles back to Young Thug, because Young Thug, a lot of this slat, wipe your nose stuff, it came up in the case, the RICO case, the state RICO case, which we have to keep in mind about that, not the federal RICO case. And this was very popular. And they're saying, like, oh, this means like getting somebody killed. But come on now. Like, it's made its way that far. I think a lot of people do it. They don't even know what they're doing for the most part. But that's one cultural element. It's like the dab, right? The dab was a moment. Migos pulled that off. And this is where we got to give Atlanta credit, man. They've just put so many things on the map in the past 10 years. The dab was a short-lived moment, but still, it was a moment nonetheless. And they didn't ban the dab, although the dab was a little bit more fun. So with Young Thug, we have, obviously, the slime as slang. I don't know if it was popular in Atlanta already, but Young Thug brought it to the mainstream. You got people, I promise you, you've got people across the world using slime to refer to each other. Like, if they're interested in hip-hop, mainly, not just regular people. If they're interested in hip-hop, they're calling their homies slime, which people don't even do in America. So that lingo made its way out there, and it's because of Young Thug. You also have the wiping nose thing, and you've also got the musical influence, right? Like Cardi influenced by Young Thug, and of course Future as well, but I think Future is more musical and stylistic influence than fashion and movements. Like things like people could say the whole like City Boys thing is a reflection of Future, and I'm willing to hear out that conversation. But with Young Thug, like, you have Gunna, right? You have so many people. The whole Atlanta underground scene is not Young Thug's children, but they have a lot of high praises for Young Thug and are influenced by him sonically as well. And then you've got to think the selflessness of Young Thug as an individual when it came to the careers of people like Lil Baby and Gunna and many others that came underneath him. Like, he wasn't even really interested in getting paid off a lot of these guys. Lil Baby, he just wanted him to succeed as much as he could. So everyone in the Atlanta scene has nothing but good graces to sing for Young Thug. And then you've got Lil Baby having massive success after that, and it was Young Thug that brought us Lil Baby and Gunna. And then you've got all the other acts too. Young Thug is going to go ahead. I just want to hear an argument from you guys of somebody else that you think is more influential that not only is their move that they created or popularized, whichever one, getting banned by the NFL, but musically, everybody wants to sound like them or work with them. Drake has so much respect for him. The streets have respect for him. So all in all, Young Thug has influenced just like music, street culture. You could say that's a negative. Entertainment, in terms of like the guy's pretty funny with how he's represented his brand and had more people doing off the wall stuff, and music and sound. Who else can we name? And it's a little bit beautiful to see, even though there's issues between them. Historically has been issues between them, because the only rapper I could think of before that was Cash Money, Lil Wayne, and that was Young Thug's idol. Because other people, we could say, like, don't tell me Kendrick Lamar is influential, like, please. Maybe if his influence just started, but that's not even a comparison. I don't even think the big three are that influential when it comes to even a Chief Keef or a Young Thug. And that's why I'm saying in the past 10 years, because post 2011, 2012, you could say for the next years after that, it was potentially Chief Keef, because drill is Chief Keef, and that's existed even until more recently. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Go to helloyassine.com. Thank you for watching. Peace.